LinkedIn. Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bay Area Content Marketing Meetup. I'm Dennis Chow, the organizer of this group. Today, I think we have a pretty timely subject. Some of us are in the midst of an active job search. The title is How to Stand Out in Your 2020 Job Search Beyond Networking. With us is Jse Bednarski. Jse is editorial lead at Salesforce for Aquent Studios, and he also owns his own marketing agency called Rockified Marketing. I had a chance to meet Jse and some of you others here. We had a chance to meet in person last year in Cleveland. Hopefully we'll get to meet again maybe next year in Cleveland. Jse, thanks for joining, and the floor is yours.
Well, thanks, and thanks everyone for joining. I'm excited to share my experiences. Hopefully it'll help some of you guys. Feel free to ask questions as we go. Hopefully we'll have time at the end. I am available till about 4 o'clock Eastern time. So, don't feel like we've got to run off right at 3:30 unless you need to, but I will go ahead and get started here. 1 second. All right, so it was literally almost a year to the day. Last year, November 12th, it'll be a year on Tuesday, even though 12th is on Thursday this year. Went to work like a normal day, got halfway through the day, and in the afternoon, the owner came into my office with HR, which was weird on its own, and basically said, hey, I need to talk to you. I need to let you go. I was caught completely off guard. It was a complete surprise. I was working for an agency at the time. And what happened was one of our biggest client severely cut their budget, and they just didn't have enough work. And so I was laid off at that point. So the one thing I will say is it was a complete surprise, and once the shock wore off, there was a little bit of relief, because quite honestly, I hated that job. I never thought I was going to be there more than a few months. I ended up being there about 3 years, and quite honestly, I don't think there was a day that I worked that I didn't look at jobs listings and look for things to apply to. So for many of you that are in a job search, you may have liked your job, you may have loved your job, you may have hated your job, it may have just been where you were working and it's time to move on. But either way, it is what it is. And the thing that made it easier for me was I was able to quickly switch over to complete search mode. Literally the next day, I started reaching out to my network, applied for unemployment, did all the things you do to get moving. And the search started really well. Keep in mind, this was last November. Economy was great. Things were moving well. I was quickly getting calls. I was getting interviews, lots of opportunities, and literally put in a goal of mine to get a job within 3 months. And that would have been February 12th. And it was around February, things were going really well. I was coming out of an interview, which was a second round of interviews, went really well. And I was thinking, with as well as things are going, I can't imagine I won't have a job pretty soon unless something completely out of the ordinary or something completely out of my control happens. So you can guess what happened next. And if you want to blame it on that thought that jinxed the entire world, I will accept that, because that's what I certainly thought. So what happened next, obviously, was COVID-19, pandemic, lockdowns, the economy crashes, seemingly overnight. Job opportunities that I was well in line for all of a sudden were put on hold. All the opportunities I were seeing dried up pretty quickly as more and more people, and 22 million, were all of a sudden out of work. Things got much more competitive. It got much harder to network. People were now working from home, and not only working from home, trying to figure out how to work from home while taking care of their kids and trying to balance everything all at once. So trying to find time to jump on a call or jump on a Zoom meeting was pretty hard to do. And plus add the stress of a virus that could kill you. So not a fun time. So really at that point, my frame of mind was, okay, this is completely out of my control. I can't control the pandemic. I can't control the economy. I can't control what jobs are available. But what I decided to do was look at what can I control, and out of the things that I can control, how can I make sure that I stand out? How can I make sure that I really rock out the things that are in my control? And that was making sure, the jobs that were available, quickly applying to them, pushing to work through my network as much as I can, even though it was much harder to find if there were other opportunities. And then also, once I got an interview, once I got a call, making sure I was prepared, making sure that I could go in and really nail the interview and put myself in the best position. So, and really looking at, what other things could I do? Going through job searches before, what feedback had I had? What do I know people tend to look for? So what I'm going to go through now are a lot of the things where I put my focus that I'm hopefully will be helpful for you guys as well. So first and foremost, stay positive. I'm generally a positive person. I can very much look at a situation, understand parts of it are bad, but what parts are good. So, and the good thing, according to psychology today, our brains work better when we have a positive frame of mind. So there's 5 things that I did to try to remain positive. Some of these are kind of cliche, I know, but one, understand things could always be worse. Even in 2020, there are people that were in worse shape than I was. And from a job search standpoint, up until that point, things have been pretty positive. So how can I continue to build on that? Look at the bigger picture. One of the things I've had friends mention to me, like, even when you're in a job search, you're always positive, always looking at the good in things. How do you do that? And one of the things is I always understand, even when I'm in a job search and things are tough or times are hard, in the big picture, it's just a blip. It may, in some cases, it may last 6 to 8 months before I find the next position. But as soon as I do, things are going to quickly start to get back to whatever, back to normal, or whatever the new or next normal may happen to be. So keeping that in mind, knowing that, yes, it's hard right now, but it's only temporary, helps me keep my eye looking into the future. Also reframing the situation. Well, I don't enjoy being in a job search, and it's not something that I would want anyone to have to go through. I reframe it to look at it as an opportunity, especially this last time. I really didn't like the job that I was at. I was looking anyway. This just put me in the situation where I could put my complete focus on finding the new opportunity, and a new opportunity that was going to be even better than where I was before. 4, fake it till you make it. Every day you're not going to feel positive. Every day you're not going to be happy. So sometimes you just have to put a smile on your face anyway. If you're talking to people, they don't want to hear you complain. So talk about the things that do make you happy. Literally smiling, even if you don't feel like it, makes your brain think that you are a little happier. So keep doing the things that you need to do. And finally, take a break when you need to. Do something that you like to do, work out, do something that makes you feel good. With especially, going through a lockdown, not every day is easy to be positive. It's very easy to kind of look around and be stressed out. So take a break. You don't have to work on the job 24/7. It is a full-time job to really find the job that you want. But it is okay to take a break, take a breath, and spend some time with your family. Do something that makes you happy, and don't worry if you're not spending 24/7 looking for a job. So the second thing that was really important in my job search, and I've used this in past job search, and I've always got great comments on this, is I created a document, and this is not something I came up with. I worked with an agency during one of my early in my career when I was in the job search, who helped me put together this job search plan. And this is the #1 most helpful document I think I've ever used in a job search. And it does a number of things. It really helps. It helps you when you're networking. It helps your contacts know how they can serve, how they can help you. If you're working with recruiters, it helps show that you're organized and thoughtful. This helps give them confidence that they can put you in touch with employers for possible positions. And it just helps to show that you know your strengths, you know what you're going after. So real quickly, I'll look this over, and Dennis, I'll give you the link. So if anyone wants to look at this a little more closely and put something together similar, they're welcome to. But the first page is really based on you and your strengths. First of all, your professional objective. What type of position are you looking for? Your preferred functions. Most of us on the call are in marketing. So for me, it's content marketing, digital marketing, branding, marketing strategy. Positioning statement. You can pull this right off your resume, right off your LinkedIn profile, but basically your elevator speech. What are you great at? What do people need to know about you? And finally, your competencies, really focusing on your strengths, and then having some examples underneath those that kind of match up to each of those strengths, so people can get a really good idea what it is that you can bring to a company. And it really helps you to organize your thoughts and really help you know, here's what I'm really good at, and how can I apply that to the job that I want to seek, and how can I let people know this is what I'm going to bring to a company, and this is where I can make a strong impact. And it's especially helpful, especially as you're networking and you start to break outside your normal circle of contacts and people who don't know you as well. This is a good introduction for them to quickly understand kind of what you bring to the table. The second page focuses more on the type of company that you're looking for. So where do you want to work from a geography standpoint? What city? Are you open to remote? Are you open to relocation? What industry or type of organization are you looking for? What size of the organization? What type of culture would you like? One thing I also added this time around was I added recent resume submissions, so people could see these are actual companies that I'm applying to give them a good idea of the type of things I'm looking for. And then finally, a target list of actual companies. So under each of the industries you may be looking at, what are some example companies that you would be interested in working at? So when you bring this, especially to one of your contacts that you're networking with, the best thing that this does is it really takes them from just saying, oh, I'll let you know when I hear about a job, or, I'll keep you in mind, to, oh, I see you're looking, you're interested in this organization. I know someone who works there. I can help. I can introduce you to them, and hopefully you guys can hit it off. They can let you know if there's any opportunities. And the goal in this isn't even to find out if there's opportunities. It's just to meet people within those companies, so you can start to learn about the company itself, learn about positions that are there, even if there's nothing available yet. So at least if something does come available, they remember who you are and that you can be somewhat top of mind. Also having a list there of companies, that also helps your contacts think of other companies to suggest that you may not have thought of, or completely different industries or different areas to think about. One of the things that was nice on my last job search was one area I never thought about was startup companies. And in Cleveland, we have a pretty good startup network here. So one of my contacts was able to kind of point me in that direction and open up a whole new area that I wasn't even considering at the time. So again, it takes a little bit of thinking and a little bit of time to put together, but out of everything that I've done on a job search, this is one that I've gotten the best feedback on, and really have gotten people telling me how helpful it is and how much this really helps them figure out how to help me, rather than just giving me random job opportunities as they see them. Next, don't make your search a secret. Actively seek help. Let people know you're in a job search. Ask for their help. Now is not the time to keep your search quiet, especially when we're in something like a pandemic where there's 22 million people out of work. There's no stigma to being laid off or anything like that. Let people know that you need the help. They can't help you if they don't know you need it. So use social media, post to your network. Hey guys, I'm in a job search. Can anyone help me out? Let me know if there's any positions open. Let me know if there's people that you can introduce me to. Add it to your social media bios. So as people see you or as new people see you, they know that you're searching and they know that they may be able to help you. This is kind of the big one. I'm sure you've all heard about personal branding. It's really important when you're in a job search. I can't tell you how many companies that I interviewed with, especially this time around, that asked me, hey, while you're on your job search, what are you doing? And, the first thing I always explain to them is, well, I'm in a job search. That's a full-time job within itself. But then I also have other things, that I was that I was doing at the same time. So first of all, show your work. So do the things that you love to do. For me, it's writing. If people are designers, developers, do more of what you're doing. I made sure I went back to my blog and got my blog active again, promoted it as much as I can. You can see on the side there, my website there for Rockified Marketing. I'd been thinking about doing Rockified Marketing for years and creating a website for it. And when COVID hit and I knew I had the time and I knew that the job market was going to get a lot more competitive, I finally just put the stake in the ground and said, I need to get this done. And it did two things for me. One, it helped me really focus my blog and focus what I was looking for. And also it opened up freelance opportunities, which is something that I wanted to get more involved with as well. And one of the best things I can say is, some of those questions, about, oh, what are you doing? When I was able to tell them some of these things that I were doing, they were very, very impressed by it. And, you can kind of see where some of the questions went after that. In fact, in one of my one of my last interviews with Salesforce, the person interviewing me started out by saying, so tell me about this Rockified Marketing, which completely blew me away. So it showed that, they did research, they found me, they found my site. I wasn't expecting that question at all. Luckily, I was more than happy to talk about it, and that they could see the passion that I was able to bring by talking through that I could then apply to Salesforce. So it's definitely something that benefited me in the long run. Some other ideas, get involved, volunteer with different organizations if you have the ability to. Help local marketing organizations get involved with, if you have a local American Marketing Association in your area or other marketing associations. If there's different companies that you can help out in the meantime. One of the other things I was lucky enough to be able to help with was helping with Content Marketing Institute. They reached out to me last December to see if I wanted to help them run their Slack channel every day. So I was more than happy to do that. I mean, it's not a big time commitment, and it's something that, one, helps me grow my network, get to know some of you that are here today. I recognize from the Slack channel. So it helps you do that. It also helps you show your expertise on certain things. So finally, again, freelance, besides bringing in extra money and experience, helps to show that you're staying active. If anyone, is looking to build personal branding, doesn't know where to start or what all they can do, I can't highly recommend Mark Schaefer's book, Known, enough. It's a great book. You can put together a plan based on the information he gives you in that book. Use some available tools that are out there. LinkedIn, obviously, I'm sure most of you are on LinkedIn. I'm sure all of you are on LinkedIn. But one thing to look at is on your profile page, there's a dashboard that shows you how many people have viewed your profile. So if you keep track of that number, hopefully it continues to go up. As you're more active on LinkedIn, it should be going up. You can also click in and, even if you don't have a premium account with them, you can get some visibility into who is actually looking at your profile. So look at who's looking at your profile and, are they people that might be good networking people for you? Are they coming from organizations that you may be interested in? You can see how many people post or how many people view the post that you make. Again, the more active you are, that number should continue to go up. And finally, you can see search appearances. So how many times are you showing up in a search for something that somebody's doing on LinkedIn? And again, they're just good ways to look at if that number is continuing to increase, to know that, hey, you're doing some good things on LinkedIn and you're getting noticed. Slack is another one. It helps you to go deeper with your communities. I'm involved with 3 different Slack communities. Obviously, the content marketing world Slack group. I also am in the Spin Sucks with Jeannie Dietrich. And then I'm also in Chris Penn's Trust Insights Slack channel as well. Finally, Twitter chats. Many of you are on the CM World Twitter chats every week. Some of you run your own. Bernie, you run your own Twitter chat every week. But again, get involved with those. It helps you expand your network, helps you show your expertise. And you never know when someone's looking, and someone may realize that either they can help you, or maybe they're looking for someone to join their organization. You may spark their interest. And so finally, I just have some additional thoughts. One, experiment with new media. If you're not overly familiar with things like video, or you haven't done much with video, now's a good time to experiment, play around with it. Get certified in different tools. One of the things I did, I got recertified in Google Analytics. Again, just to show that I'm staying active. I'm trying to learn new things while I'm out on a job search. I also got certified with account-based marketing. It was something that I was seeing coming up more and more in job opportunities, and I hadn't had any experience with it. So I wanted to learn more about it, and having the certification shows organizations that, okay, I've got some knowledge to be able to take on roles that include that. One thing I'll mention is don't sleep on Fridays. I was always kind of like, it's Friday, I'm going to take it easy today. For some reason, this time in this job search, Fridays were actually a pretty busy day for me. Now, I tend not to send resumes out on Friday afternoon, just because some of the research I've read is, you're better off waiting till Monday morning so that you don't end up just in a pile. But I will say I had emails and calls come through on Friday afternoons, either setting up interviews or asking for more information, which I didn't expect, which was nice. So Fridays ended up being pretty productive days for me. Don't give up on companies that you love. Even if you don't get a position, Salesforce, I initially interviewed with them, I think it was last December or January, for one position. Had an interview, didn't get the position, and then the position I'm in now came up a few months later. Having that experience of interviewing them before definitely helped me on the second time around, and helped them understand once they saw that, you've also interviewed already, help them feel more confident in hiring me as well. Related to that, if there are dream companies that you're interested in, apply, look for jobs. I mean, even if you don't think there's any chance you could get it or whatever, you never know. I mean, you can have plenty of other companies that you don't move forward with or don't get much of an opportunity. Even once you apply, you might as well go for the ones you really want to work with, even if they seem really far out there, the Disneys, the Googles, anything like that. Excuse me. Take time for family and friends, and it's kind of related again. It's okay to step away to clear your mind. Again, we're all going through a lot this year. 2020 has been, anything crappy that can happen has happened. So it's okay to step away, to understand when you're stressed, and just take a break, spend time with your family and friends, and take some time and do the things that you need to do. And finally, it is stressful, but you are going to get through it. You'll find the job that's perfect for you, and there are great jobs out there. It's just more competitive, and by taking some of these steps, hopefully that'll help you to stand out and to really put a great foot forward and to be able to secure the job that you really want. So finally, how can I help you? I want to have time for questions. If everyone's got questions, please feel free to contact me. Either email me, follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on Twitter, whatever it is. If I can help you in any way, I'm happy to do it. Anything I can do, I'm happy to help. I had a ton of people help me out, including many people that are here today, and I appreciate it more than words can say. So I'm so happy to help anyone with their job search as well. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Thanks, Jeremy. Great advice, and congratulations on your new role. We did have a question in the chat from Linda. So you mentioned you're got some certifications. Linda's asking, what platform did you get certified on, and did you find it relevant, useful, or lucrative?
Google Analytics was the main one, and I had been certified a couple years ago. And yeah, I mean, I use Google Analytics. I do find it definitely useful. There were a lot of places that asked me about Google Analytics experience, and as soon as you can tell them you're certified, you usually get the nod and they move on to another question. So from an account-based marketing, that was helpful. It's not a whole lot that I'm actually using in my job now, but I have a much better understanding of what it is, and much more than I did before. And if I do need to apply it, I know the steps to take in order to do it. So, for other people, if you're looking at different certifications, it really just depends on what you want to do and what you think is going to be useful. Some other things that I was looking at included Google Ads. And then I was also looking at, just some general marketing areas. I am actually certified in HubSpot too, which is about to run out, and I'll probably get recertified in that. But some of the other platforms, I know there's Marketo, there's Pardot, there's different things that you can get certified in.
Jeremy, was the ABM from Demandbase or from someone else?
I believe it was Demandbase.
Okay. Yeah, I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, they announced a free ABM certification. So that's why I thought maybe it was them. Any other questions? Actually, feel free to unmute yourself if you want to ask a question or share a comment. I'll start with one. Jeremy, I know we had spoken while you were in the midst of your search, and you were weighing or considering taking on freelance work and/or maybe going full-time into freelance versus full-time. Tell us a little bit about how you thought about that and how you eventually decided to go full-time role.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I've always wanted to kind of get going on a freelance, from a freelance perspective. I haven't really done much freelance work. So obviously in the job search, just being able to get the extra money, the extra experience was a big catalyst in helping me move that forward. My goal was always, though, to get a full-time position. In fact, I think I was talking to Todd. It's like, why don't you just do that? Why don't you just freelance full-time? He's like, you never know, you might like it. And I said, well, when we get to that point, I'll be happy to reconsider. So, it's a good thing. I've got a couple of contacts that I'm still talking to with possible opportunities from a freelance standpoint. I do want to continue to do some side freelance work even while I have a full-time position.
Got it. Excellent. Anyone else with questions? I see Bernie has shared some links to HubSpot courses. Thank you, Bernie.
Jeremy, what's your thoughts on the resume? So I obviously haven't had one forever, and I put mine together, thought it was great, and then actually gave it to a professional, had them totally rewrite it, which was probably the best thing that I've ever done, and the best money that I ever spent. But between that and the cover letter, what are your thoughts around that? Because I think that's that's a huge important part of being seen, using the right keywords, and I'm not a recruiter, and that was the one thing that having a professional do it, what I thought was so important, because they are familiar with it and they know it.
Yeah, I kind of have a couple of thoughts on that. One, there's probably nothing harder you're ever going to write than your own resume. I look at my resume, I've looked at it a million times. I'm never happy with it. I always think it could be better. I look at other people's resume, and I can look at oh, why don't you do this? It's easier to critique someone else's resume than your own. From a keyword standpoint, it's a pain, but yeah, every time you look at a position, look at the job description, find a way to work those keywords into your resume, work it into the cover letter, because that's what they're looking at. Quite honestly, if most of them are putting it through some kind of machine to look for those keywords, and if they're not there, you're not even going to make it to a human looking at it. Cover letters too. I hate cover letters. They're a pain. They're time consuming, but I continue to do them. Most places, it's kind of mixed. If people look at them or not, I never know. But I'd rather err on the side of I did it, but I didn't need to, rather than not have it and then have someone say, "Well, you didn't put a cover letter in, so I'm not even going to look at your resume." But again, look at the different keywords that you can use. How can you match that up to the job description to show that what they're looking for is what you're able to do. I like the cover letter to be able to give a little bit more depth to the resume and give actual examples of some of the things that I've accomplished. And also, before I forget, from a resume standpoint, the one thing that I did get compliments on was up at the top, after a quick summary of me, I had 4 or 5 bullet points of actual accomplishments from each of my positions. So if someone's just kind of scanning real quick, it shows actual accomplishments of, I was able to increase Facebook following by 85%. I was able to increase revenue by X%. Having those, one, it helps them continue to read, but it gives actual concrete data that you can point to. And I had a lot of people tell me that was important, and that was a good thing. As far as a format, I got all kinds of mixed thoughts on, I've got pretty much a standard resume, and a lot of people are like, well, that looks dated. I mean, other people say, well, if you do it too stylized, now the bots and everything can't read it correctly. So for me, I just kind of kept it to what I was comfortable with. I left it in the standard mode. That's kind of what I was able to get the most information on, and two, it was the most comfortable for me. And I was getting enough calls and interviews from it that I didn't see a need to change it too drastically. And I reached out to someone, a professional to review it, and quite honestly, they were a lot more expensive than I thought they would be. So if some of you who do have positions and are looking to search for a job while you're working, if you're going to use a professional, do it now while you have an income, because when you don't have that income and they come back with $1,000 to $1,500, it's a little more daunting of, do I want to spend that money?
Hey, Jeremy, when you
Good
see
advice.
there's an opening, right, and you have a choice, it'll say like you can apply on the website, you can apply through LinkedIn, you can apply through a service, right, like Indeed or one of the, does it matter as far as how you do it?
I don't know if it matters, but my preference is always to go directly through the website if I have that choice. I would say LinkedIn is probably my last choice. I would rather go through like Indeed or something like that before going. And my only reason for that, and it's probably personal preference, I just think from LinkedIn, it's so easy that you can do a one-click thing. I don't know if they're paying as much attention to those as someone who takes the time to do it on their actual website. I could be completely wrong, but that was just my preference and my thinking going into it.
Okay, thanks.
Jeremy, we have a question in the chat from Catherine. Tell us a bit more about the benefits of Twitter chats.
You guys can all attest to this as well. I mean, it's a really good opportunity to expand your networking, expand your contacts. There's people with the Twitter chats that tend to go every week or every few weeks, so you get the chance to meet new people, show your expertise. Especially in some cases, you may get a chance to host a topic. I've been able to do that a couple of times with the Content Marketing World Chat, and you learn. You can learn from other people. If there's certain things that you're dealing with your, a job, or, know that you might deal with in a new job. It gives you the opportunity to learn things. It gives you the opportunity to ask questions, and meet new people. I find them to be highly effective. I wish I had time, to sit on more. In fact, with my new job, I have meetings now. I can't even attend the content marketing world one. So that's been really the only bummer about that new job, is it's taken me away from that. But I would say if you have the opportunity, absolutely do it.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jeremy, about being the featured guest. So a lot of Twitter chats feature a person each for that week. That's what Content Marketing Institute does on their CM World. So if you develop relationships with the community and you're invited to be the guest, then that's going to give you a lot of visibility, because you are answering all the questions and everyone else is answering too. But if you're the featured person, you'll get a lot of attention. You'll probably get a lot of new followers. And I know Bernie has his chat. What is it called? Digital 360 chat, in which he also every week features a fellow marketer. And it's a good opportunity to get some visibility and enhance your personal brand.
Yeah, and once you kind of establish a relationship with the host, reach out and ask if there's a topic that you feel comfortable covering. Most of the time, they're always looking for people to host a certain week, or they're looking for topics. So it's not in any way out of line to reach out and request to either be the guest or to suggest a topic.
All right, next question is from Diana. Any advice for someone looking to change careers or return to a previous career path?
Expand. I would talk to your network. If you've got folks that are still in that line of work, that can, one, help you if anything has changed, depending on how long you may have been away from that specific industry, and also help you possibly introduce you to people that can help you get back into that world. One of the things that I tried to do wasn't really changing industries, but my last two positions have been on the agency side. Before that, I was on the corporate side. So with this search, I really wanted to get back on the corporate side. So usually I had to explain that to folks, because some people are like, oh, you're in an agency. Why do you want to go to a corporate job? And it's just that's where I feel my strengths were better served, and it was my preference. So explaining that to people was helpful, and then they could help out from there. And when I was doing my search, other than a couple early on, I really didn't apply to any other agencies. I kept it all on the corporate side. So hopefully that helps. If I can answer that better, let me know.
And as folks are seeing, there's a bunch of LinkedIn profile links in the chat. So be sure to click on them if you're inclined to connect with others before we end this session. And I would recommend that you're connecting as a result of this meetup, so people know the context. And then speaking of LinkedIn, this is expanding on a point from Jeremy's talk, which is I've been working for over 20 years, working in the workforce for over 20 years. I'm not going to give the exact number because it's a big one, but that means there's a lot of people on LinkedIn that are available to help that may have no idea what your current situation is. So I have people I worked with 20 years ago that I connected with on LinkedIn back then. And it's very important to get the word out. So maybe something as simple as putting in your headline or even in your name what you're looking for. So for instance, I'm a consultant. So I put marketing consultant for hire. That lets people know that they could potentially contact me for marketing consulting work. But the key point is that there's so many people that may not know what your situation is that could be of help, but you just got to make sure they know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, they can't help you if they don't know you need it. And most people, especially now, are more than happy, to reach out, to help you out with whatever you need. If they can help, they're happy to.
Any other questions? Todd, you got a question or a comment?
No, I'm just sitting here putting my shoes on because I saw who was here and I pushed back my 12:30 lunch meeting to as late as I can. So no other comments.
Okay. I'll give a few seconds for any final questions or comments.
I have
see
a
some more
question.
LinkedIn links.
What does
Excellent.
everybody think about the looking for work symbol on LinkedIn?
Ooh, can you tell us more?
I
I'm
use-
not sure.
The new, there's a new green circle they just added about 2 months ago that on your profile picture, it says looking for work, and it really kind of cuts off your face. And I've been hesitant to use it, but I'd love to know what everybody thinks of that.
I used it in my search, quite honestly, just going back to the easier I can make it for people to know that I'm looking and they can help me out. That's pretty much what I said. I did see, I can't remember now why someone, I think there was a post or something about why you shouldn't use it. I can't remember what it was, but I remember reading and thinking like, no, it's really a personal preference, and it didn't resonate with me. Why not to do it?
One of the things I read was that, they're just, some companies may just not want to hire someone who's unemployed, and that's another flag to it. But I'm not sure how I feel about that either.
Yeah, and I do remember that now, and they're going to find out anyway. So, you can't keep that secret anyway. So if that's a weird thing with a company that they don't want to do it, better you find out before you do put any effort into trying to get the position. And quite honestly, if there's a position that, or a company that wouldn't want to hire me because I wasn't currently working, I don't know if I want to work with them anyway.
I think that stigma has kind of gone away since these are such crazy times for a lot of people to begin with.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'd probably test it. If I seem to have less activity, maybe I turn it back off, but I would definitely test it. Unless I already had a job and I was looking on the side. I don't think I'd turn it on.
That would be bad form, yes.
Since we're marketers, maybe LinkedIn can allow us to A/B test it, so it'll show it to 50% of our profile viewers.
I like that.
And track the metrics.
Hey, Jeremy, how much did you
Let's tweak. We can all tweak the idea to LinkedIn.
How much did you tweak your resume for different jobs?
It really depended on the job. For the most part, mine's kind of set up for a content marketing or marketing director type position. So if it went farther away from that, then I would have more tweaks to make. But for the most part, it was really just kind of matching up some of the keywords. If there was something specific within the job description that I didn't think was on my resume strongly enough, I might update it for there. But it really just depended on the job description.
Okay, thanks.
All right, I think that's all the time we have today. I have one important note before we go, which is our next meetup, which is a week from today. So Rich, who was on earlier, Rich and I gave a content marketing world presentation about this meetup and how we were able to grow the meetup, and some tips for others who are thinking of starting their own meetup. So we're going to re-give that talk next Thursday. So if you check our meetup page, you can sign up and get the Zoom link. And with that, Jeremy, thanks so much for joining us and sharing with us your advice. And to everyone else who's out there looking for a job, best wishes. And I think I will try to connect with all of you on LinkedIn. And if I can do anything to help, I'm here to do that.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Listening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Everyone,
Thanks, Dennis.
bye.
See you guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Dennis and Jeremy.
Thanks, guys.